Well, y'all come right on back into the kitchen because we're still cooking good stuff today. I'm going to make a dish that I've been making for years and years and years. Made it when both of my kids were at home, and my son's 47 years old, so it's been a while. But I always call it cheating lasagna because it tastes like lasagna, but it's a whole lot easier to make. Now what you're going to do, I'm going to tell you the method, and then you'll see part of it as I put it together. You brown your hamburger meat until you get it really good and brown, and then I like to drain as much of the fat off of it as I can get. Sometimes I saute onions and bell pepper in with it, sometimes I don't. Today I'm not. Once you get your hamburger meat browned, then you season it. And I've got 3 tablespoons of onion powder because I'm not putting onion in it, and a heaping teaspoon of garlic powder. I have a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and a half a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to put that into my meat that I've already browned off, about 1.5 pounds of meat, and give that a little quick stir over here at the stove. I mean, y'all know what browned hamburger looks like. This is a very easy casserole to make, and it's filling, it's easy, it freezes well if you want to freezer bake some of it, which makes a 9 by 13. So what I do, we eat a meal or two off of it, and then I divide it in portions and vacuum seal it. And then on the days that, I need a meal, I can bring that out, make a salad, and I've got a meal. Or if I've cooked a pot of beans and I want something to go with it, this is a perfect thing to go with a pot of beans. So you get your hamburger meat browned and seasoned, and then you're going to just open up your choice of spaghetti sauce. And if you like it real juicy, add you another can or jar of your spaghetti sauce. I'm going to add some diced tomatoes, and I love the Red Gold brand. They're non-GMO, and they generally don't have any sugar in them. Not that I worry too much about sugar, but I just thought I'd throw that in. Make me sound like I'm, interested in all that. I'm going to open my tomatoes. In the meantime, I've got a pot of water heating because I need to cook a 12-ounce bag of medium egg noodles. Now you cook your egg noodles, and then you drain them, and you stir in 8 ounces of cream cheese, 16 ounces of sour cream into the egg noodles while they're hot. Let it melt the cream cheese and let it all blend. And then I'll put about 2 teaspoons of onion powder and about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder into that, so the noodles will be flavored, and probably 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Stir that in with your egg noodles and set them aside. And all you do is put a little bit of your meat mixture down, some egg noodles, and your choice of cheese. Today I'll be using Colby Jack because that's what I've got grated. Then you put some more of your meat, some more noodles, and just keep layering it, adding your cheese in between your layers. End up with cheese on the top, pop it in the oven and melt the cheese. You've got a delicious casserole, quick and easy. Like I said, it warms up really well. I prefer to heat it in the oven. I don't like how meat tastes warmed up in the microwave. Put it in your oven and warm it up. Tastes like it was just cooked. And also, like I told you, freeze it. When I bring it out of the freezer, I'll wrap that frozen portion in foil and put it in the oven and heat it, and it is wonderful. So let me get my water boiling and get my noodles in. We've got our meat seasoned. I'm fixing to add the spaghetti sauce and tomatoes to the meat and just let that simmer a little bit, and I'll bring you over to the stove and show you that when it starts simmering. And I'll get the egg noodles done, and I'll show you how I add the sour cream and seasoning and the cream cheese to them. This is really a no-brainer. It's kind of season it to your taste, but I'm giving you some guidelines. About 1.5 pounds of beef. And then put in onion, garlic powder, a little bit of salt, a little bit of Italian seasoning. And then you add your spaghetti sauce and your canned tomatoes if you want canned tomatoes in it. Then you boil your noodles, drain them, and put in 8 ounces of cream cheese, 16 ounces of sour cream. Stir that until it's all melted together. And then you layer it, meat and noodles and cheese. Meat, noodles, and cheese. End up with cheese on the top. Brown it in the oven a little bit till it melts. So I'll be right back. Let me get the rest of it going. Okay, my meat was browned and I added my seasonings in, my spaghetti sauce and my can of tomatoes, and I'm just letting it, because I had browned the meat and it kind of cooled a snitch, so I'm just bringing it back up to a simmer. I have my egg noodles cooking, and you cook them for 7 minutes and drain them, and then you stir in your cream cheese and sour cream. So I'll bring you back in just a minute. What I do, I cut my cream cheese, it's soft already, and I just kind of cut it in hunks so that when I put my hot noodles in, it'll seem to me like it melts a little quicker. So I've got them drained into the pot, and what I do is I toss them first in the cream cheese while they're good and hot, and it'll melt really good before I put the cold sour cream in there with it. And I like to put some black pepper, and I always put a little onion and garlic powder in here, so I'll be doing that here in a minute because I like the noodles to have some flavor to add to everything else. So let me get this stirred up and melted, and I'm going to let that sit there just a jiffy while I reach over here and get my onion and garlic powder. Today I'm using the garlic powder that I got. It's McCormick's, and it has some parsley in it. It's just pretty. So I'm just going to add about a teaspoon of that. And I'll add about a tablespoon, of course, of onion powder. Heaping tablespoon. Into my noodles, because I like for them to be flavored too. Tell you, when you get the sour cream and the cream cheese on it, you could almost just eat the noodles. Very good. And anytime you want to make your like a spaghetti dish special with your own spaghetti sauce, toss your spaghetti or your noodles with a little cream cheese and sour cream, and then put your spaghetti sauce over it, and oh my goodness, it's creamy and delicious. The cream cheese is about melted, and I'm going to add 16 ounces of sour cream. That came out nice and even. I like that. Because it comes out in a big old blob, if you'll smear it around on the top before you start stirring, it's easier to incorporate it. And you can use fresh garlic if you want to. I'm just being lazy today. Normally, I would have me some fresh garlic minced up and in that meat over there, but I've already been in the kitchen all day, and I decided to go the easy route. Sometimes I do that. It's good. Another thing with this, get those little throwaway foil pans. Take this to a family reunion, or you know, we all need some funeral food every now and then. It's wonderful. Everybody loves it. Okay, I'm going to bring my meat mixture over here. Now I've pammed this pan because it's one of those fooey. The inside of it's kind of like a crock. I don't know what they call them. And I'm going to put in the bottom of it, I'm just going to smear a little bit of the meat stuff around so you won't just have a blob of noodles on the bottom. But I'm stingy with it because I want to have plenty to make my layers with as I go up. Just enough to give it a little base here. And I'll have a little bit of the bottom showing, but not much. Y'all can see. Okay, now I'm going to put a few noodles in. And I spread them pretty thin. You don't want to, you know, if you're making lasagna, a lasagna noodle is not real wide. I mean, real thick. So, just put you some in there. I usually get 2, sometimes 3 layers. Just depends. Sometimes got a little more meat than others. Got my noodles. I think I may add a little cheese here in the middle. Sometimes I do that. I just cheese it up a little bit. Okay, that just makes it good. And I may have some noodles left. It looks like I might. But I have some spaghetti sauce that will go great on them if I do. Sometimes I make my own egg noodles. I took an Italian cooking class. I mean, I was a young bride years ago. There was a store that opened in Humble, Texas called the Kitchen Place. Well, that was right down my alley back then. And I took a class down there and we made homemade egg noodles. And I bought the little pasta rolling machine. And I love it. I'm going to leave those noodles out and I'm just going to go ahead and top it with cheese here. And I know typically you would use mozzarella, but I always use cheddar or Kobe Jack in this. I don't know why. I think it heats up better than the mozzarella myself. Sometimes the mozzarella can get rubbery. So you do what you want to and use the kind of cheese that pleases your family. But since mine hadn't, on this recipe, hadn't had much of a opportunity to choose and make their mind up, they just are glad to get what they get. You ever heard that you get what you get, you don't throw a fit? Well, that's kind of how it is. You get what you get. Okay. Now I'm going to put it into the oven, a 350-degree oven, and melt the cheese, and I will bring you back and dish some up and show you. But I'm going to tell you what, if you could be here and smell this, you'd run to the store and get the stuff and make you some, because that is good. That's what memories are made out of, right around the supper table. Okay, the casserole is out of the oven, but it is so hot with all that cheese, I'm not fixing to try to take a bite of it right now. But I wanted y'all to see what it looks like. The cheese is all melted, and it's very, 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 very hot. Can you see? It's heavy. I'll try to shoot the camera down on it where y'all can see what it looks like. Hang on. Dish some up in a minute and let y'all see the portion, but I just wanted you to see it while it was still complete and pretty. And I'll be back shortly. Okay, I got it dished up. Let me show you. Doesn't that look just like a dish of lasagna? But it's so easy. Now I'm going to taste of it, and I promise you I'm going to love it, because I always do. I put a little bit of green onion blades on the top. That's yummy. If y'all like easy and quick and good, this is the one for you. Let me know if you try it and what you think about it. And if you want some more casseroles, because I have quite a few that's in my regular routine of cooking. I just swap out one and the other. And I've had a few requests for potato salad and different things, and that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So y'all stay tuned. Don't forget to make a good meal and sit down at the supper table with your family. And you know what's coming next. Turn those dumb cell phones off. They can't hug your neck or give you a kiss. They can't help you up if you fall down, and they can't tend to you when you get old. You better be making some memories and having a relationship with that family that's going to stick with you through thick or thin. It's pretty important. And they'll all come to the table if you got a good meal on it. And then, like I said, you can learn some good stuff talking to them. Y'all have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another good recipe.